But we got to also look, family, at the heroes around about us. There are many women and many men in life who have gone through so much pain, through so much agony, so much heartache, and through it all, they've trusted God and come out on top. I'm going to tell you today about a story, a true story that happened about 10 years ago. And the headlines of the newspaper read, 3 women missing for nearly 10 years, found alive. Kidnapped girls in horrifying dungeon. Michelle Knight. On the 23rd of August, 2002, Michelle Knight was 20 years old. She suddenly vanished. She was at her cousin's house and left her cousin's house, and no one saw her. Eventually, when she was found, she said that she accepted a lift from a man who said that he would just drive her home. How foolish was she? But he drove her to his house, and he imprisoned her in the house of horrors, in the house of a dungeon, for 10 long years. He beat her. He raped her. He chained her up like an animal. For 10 years, she never saw sunlight except twice. He tied her up in his basement. He beat her up. The Cleveland newspaper explains that she must have disappeared on her own because she was 20. The family thought she had left because she had lost custody of her son. But her mother said, no, my daughter would not just disappear. And so even when the police stopped looking for her, her mother carried on searching for her child. April the 21st, 2003, Amanda Berry was 16 years old when she was working at Burger King. The same man, Castro, said, I'll give you a lift home. My son works at Burger King, and while I can go and take you home, then I'll come and get him. She foolishly got into the car, and he took her to the house of horrors, the dungeon. There he imprisoned her. There he locked her up. There he raped her repeatedly for 10 long years. And then, April the 2nd, 2004, Gina was 14 years of age. She disappeared into thin air when walking home from school one day. She was last seen in a telephone booth. But before her abduction, she was best friends with a girl by the name of Arlene, who was the daughter of Castro, the man who was kidnapping the girls. So when she left school at 14 one day, she saw her father's friend, her friend's father. And he said, would you like a lift home? And she said yes. And he didn't take her home. He took her to his house of horrors, his horrors. Although he raped her often, because she was his daughter's friend, he would put a paper bag on her head. According to the 3 women, Michelle was the worst treated by Castro. She became pregnant 5 times. But he refused allow her to have a baby. So when she became pregnant, he would punch her until she miscarried. He would starve her for weeks on end so that she would miscarry. That didn't happen to her once. That happened to her 5 times. He beat her up so badly over the 10 years that her vision and her hearing became impaired. When the woman tried to escape, he would catch them. He would chain them to the pole in the basement. He would put helmets on their heads. He would tie them with chains. One time he took the vacuum cleaner cord and wrapped it around their necks, tried to strangle them. Of the 3 girls, Amanda was reportedly Castro's favorite. She became pregnant in 2007, and she gave birth to a baby in a plastic tub. The baby never breathed. There was panic in the room. And Castro said to Michelle, if you don't get this baby to live, I'm going to kill you. He threatened to kill them all the time. He conditioned them not to escape by pretending he would leave the house. When they tried to escape, he would pounce on them. He would beat them. He would lock them up until they got conditioned not to escape. At night, they could never get out because he would chain them to their beds at night in 3 different rooms. For 10 years, they lived tortured by a man full of demons, chained like animals to the basement, robbed of their youth, only seeing the light of day twice in 10 years. But on May the 6th, 2013, according to the police, when Castro left that day for work, Amanda realized that he failed to lock the one door. She did not attempt to break the door because she thought Castro was testing her. But she screamed and she screamed and she screamed and she screamed and she screamed. She screamed so loud that the neighbors came running. The one neighbor bashed the door down. Amanda crawled through the bottom of the door with her 6-year-old child. With this neighbor, ran to a telephone, called the police, called 911. She says, I am Amanda Berry. I was kidnapped 10 years ago. I'm alive. Please send the police to this house so we can rescue the other girls. The police came. They went into the house. They went into the upstairs. Michelle, the one who's beaten so badly, the one who's got no hearing and her speech is impaired, she jumped into the officer's arms and she said, you've saved me, you saved me. They took the 3 girls out. They took them to the hospital. And they were taken care of. Of course, Castro went to prison. But on July the 9th, 2013, the 3 women, which is just this past July, broke their silence. And for the first time since their rescue, they released a video statement to the public thanking them for their help. But the one that I've selected for you and I to watch today is the one from Michelle. She was the one that was beaten. She was the one that was impregnated 5 times. But because of the beatings and the starving, she miscarried all 5 babies. She was tortured for 10 years in a house of dungeon. But listen to what she has to say, family, about her life and her knockdown. Roll the video.
Thank you everyone for your love, support, and donations, which helped me build a brand new life. I just want everyone to know I'm doing just fine. I may have been through hell and back, but I am strong enough to walk through hell with a smile on my face and with my head held high and my feet firmly on the ground. Walking hand in hand with my best friend, I will not let the situation define who I am. I will define the situation. I don't want to be consumed by hatred. With that being said, we need to take a leap of faith and know that God is in control. We have been hurt by people, but we need to rely on God as being the judge. God has a plan for all of us. The plan that He gave me was to help others that have been in the same situations I have been in. To know that there's someone out there to lean on and to talk to. I'm in control of my own destiny with the guidance of God. I have no problem expressing how I feel inside. Be positive. Learn that it's important to give than to receive. Thank you for all your prayers. I'm looking forward to my brand new life. Thank you.
I want to ask you today, for those of you who've you felt like life has knocked you down. You felt like that you haven't forgiven yourself. But today, just like Gina, she said it's a brand new day. She said, I refuse for the situation to define who I am. Many of you have been knocked down. But I want you to know that we want to lift you up today. That Jesus has a good plan for your life. And we want to pray with you. And we want things to be fresh and new in your life. If you've been condemning yourself, today's your day to be free of that. If you haven't forgiven yourself, today's the day to be free of that. If you haven't forgiven others for what they've done to you, today is the day. If you feel that life has just been so difficult, today is the day of a new, fresh start for you.
Thank you for watching Dr. Bev's YouTube channel. We will continue to offer dynamic and uplifting highlights from Dr. Bev's messages. Please take the time to like and share the videos. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Keep watching the Dr. Beverly Wolmarans YouTube channel.